Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Uh-huh.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to Smashing Kidney Disease. I am your host, Steve Belcher. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We got a serious story tonight. Share this broadcast. If you're looking for a kidney, you want some inspiration, you got kidney disease, this is the place to be tonight. Urban Health Outreach Media. Share this broadcast with your family, your friends. Let's get the word out about kidney disease, organ donations. Let's make some noise with this, especially with kidney disease being the 9th leading cause of death in the United States. Imagine this. You need a kidney transplant, right? Your mom goes to get tested so she could be your donor. Then your mom finds out she's suffering from kidney disease, from the very same disease that caused your kidney disease. Imagine that. That's what I'm saying. This disease has no color to it, no name, no nothing. I don't care if you're rich, poor, black, white. But unfortunately, it affects the minority population at a disproportionate rate than it do other population. But I guess tonight she's going to share her 20 plus year journey with this disease, and she's going to share this story about when her mom went to go get tested. Her mom found out she was suffering from the same thing her daughter was suffering from. So let's bring on our guest tonight, Dawn Kurkowski, all the way from Hackensack, New Jersey. Let's give her the VIP welcome treatment. Here we go. Hey, Dawn, how you doing?
Great, Steve. How are you?
Pretty good. Finally got you here.
Yep. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor. And the sound just went out.
What, can you hear me? Can you hear me now, Dawn? Okay, guys, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Hopefully, Dawn, you there?
Yes.
Great. All right. So, tilt your phone down just a little bit. There you go. So, Dawn, we first met because I've seen you in the past responding to a lot of the comments or just posting certain comments during the show, positive comments.
Yes.
How does your experience begin with kidney disease?
Well, actually, it goes back to my experience with transplant. I'm 49 now, and when I was about 23, I had a stepsister die who became an organ donor. I didn't know I would need organ donation myself. Then it turned out that when I was about 25, between 25 and 26, I was told I had 50% kidney function left. And I looked at the doctor and I said, well, 50%, I have two kidneys. Can you take out one and just leave the other one good? The doctor says, no, we can't. Basically, it's 50% of each kidney. I was very much in shock because I was very, very young. I didn't think it happened to people so young. And look what happened. And basically, by 29, I had a kidney transplant.
Wow. Now, did you experience kidney dialysis?
Yes. Well, Steve, I had 3.5. Let me think. Yeah, actually about 2.5 years first on dialysis, and then another 8 months because the first dialysis I did was peritoneal, where I did that for about 2.5 years. I did both the cycling machine after the regular ambulatory didn't work for a while, and then I ended up getting peritonitis. So then I had to switch to hemo for another 8 months. I had a lot of trouble with the access because I have very tiny veins, and the next step would have been to put a catheter in my groin, but then I ended up transplanted, thank God.
Wow, congratulations. So now tell us, what caused your kidney disease? You said FSGS.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with FSGS about 20 something years ago, about 24 years ago, when I was told I had half of each kidney left. And it was just a matter of time. They gave me prednisone to try to hold off the kidney damage. Of course, that didn't work very effective. Within like 8 months after that, I did totally lose my kidney function.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, how was peritoneal?
Well, for a while, it was great. I worked. I worked a full-time job. I was able to do the ambulatory peritoneal because I had a job where they set up a little room for me during my lunch break. I would do it in the morning. I would do it, and at night. Then when the cycler came, I would do it at home.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The only thing is when I worked, it was very hard because if I felt sick, I would take.
Your
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say your employer made accommodations for you.
Yes, he did. I basically told him I would have to leave or they need to make accommodations. He had no idea what the ADA or Disabilities Act was. So, considering that and telling him what I needed, I think they tried their best.
Wow. Let me sign out. I want to leave and come back in because I'm getting a lot of static when I'm talking. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay. I think we should be fine.
Okay.
So, did you, when you went through dialysis, did you have a big support system?
I'm sorry, I got a little static.
Did you have a big support system when you went through dialysis?
I'd say my family was the biggest support system I had, but they didn't understand. So it was up to me to find resources because 20 years ago there were no groups like this, Steve. There was no Facebook. So the challenge was that I had to go out and find my own. So two resources I got to mention that were totally beneficial to me was the AAKP, American Association of Kidney Patients, as well as the National Kidney Foundation, and just being in touch with the sharing network and being a volunteer before I got my transplant and afterwards. So shout out to the sharing network.
Mm-hmm. Talk about the AAKP. How are they beneficial to you?
Well, the AAKP has about half of its board served by actual kidney patients as opposed to board members who are all just administrative people. So I thought that was great because there was a support there, and they provided a lot of information about kidney disease. They had a magazine they sent me with diet, how to read blood work, just a whole great amount of information. As well as now they have a website that people can access. I'm still getting mail from them, um, and I still support them financially when I can.
Hmm.
They're just absolutely awesome.
Don, do you have any earbuds?
Yeah.
Could you try to put them on? I think that may help us out with my interference.
Okay, let me see. Hang on. I can. Oh, here. Hang on. Give me 1 second, Steve.
Sure, absolutely. Guys, thank you for watching. This is a great special edition of Smashing Kidney Disease. I am your host, Steve Belcher. I have kidney warrior Don Krakowski from Hackensack, New Jersey.
This works.
Thanks everyone for watching. Don has had a transplant for over 20 years and very knowledgeable pertaining to transplant.
That's better.
Yes. Thank you, Jared. That's our graphic guy and host of Warriors Quest, Jared Brown. Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you,
Always can
Jared.
count
I've
on
seen you
you.
before on Facebook.
Yes. Hey, Jonathan, thanks for watching. Now, Don, we had talked and you had even that you were positive and you encouragement. Can you share about that and what got you motivated to do that?
I'm sorry, Steve. I didn't hear you. What got me motivated to?
To kind of be positive and encourage other warriors.
Well, Steve, I found that when I had first been diagnosed, with kidney disease, I didn't have enough support. I didn't have enough information, and I felt I didn't want anybody to be like me, and I wanted to share all the resources that I have, and for that and any other things I've been through, and I just thought it was a great thing to do. It also helped me to get through my suffering to help other people. It gave me a reason, a passion, and a cause. I think it was sort of like I was blessed with this curse to meet people, to help people. I turned the curse into a blessing, really.
Now, when you say you didn't want people to be like you, do you think during the initial diagnosis period that you didn't get the information that maybe you should have gotten?
Yes. Basically, I was very scared, and my introduction to dialysis was going to a center and seeing people that appeared to be so sick that they were dying, mostly a lot of elderly people. At the time, I was one of the youngest, and I just got a little bit, well, maybe a little bit depressed at that time, thinking, oh my God, I'd rather be dead. Oh my God, I don't know anything about this. Of course, that quickly changed when I found a lot of information. Although I got to say that my doctor was one of the most hugest influences because I've had her now over 25 years, Dr. Penny DeFranco, and she is my saving grace because she said to me, "You're not going to die. It's going to be okay. You'll feel better," and she was right.
In New Jersey, you've been in New Jersey this whole time. You've dealt with kidney disease.
Pretty much, yes.
So, no, the reason why I'm asking, over the 20 plus years that you've dealt with kidney disease, have you seen an explosion of kidney dialysis centers in New Jersey?
Yes, definitely. When I was first on dialysis, the resources weren't there as much. There were less centers. It also seems that maybe there were less people needing it. It was exponential growth in New Jersey of both centers and patients, actually. But I have to
Wow.
say, I was also.
Now, when you was
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Finish what you were saying. I'm sorry, Don.
I was a visitor to California during the time I was on hemodialysis, and I did visit one of their centers as well. And at the time, which was over 20 years ago, there were less centers to choose from. I went to a satellite center, and there was a lot less centers to choose from than in New Jersey.
Wow. Wow. Now, what have you seen different now opposed to when you first started dialysis? What technology or what is happening now in dialysis that wasn't happening 20 years ago?
I think one of the biggest things is being able to access a lot of information on the internet, Facebook. There's a lot more virtual support, which I think is really important because sometimes you don't want to go anywhere, sometimes you can't go anywhere. So I think that that's huge. Also, in the dialysis centers, there's options to read digitally. There's options to watch what you want on your phone, your iPad. I didn't have that. We had 5 channels, and one of them was the
Wow.
news.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Now, can you take us back to when you got that call?
Absolutely. So the day I got that call, I was actually scheduled to go to a job I was working that day. So the first thing I did is I was very surprised because I was actually number 4 for my kidney. Amazing. The first person ended up being pregnant, so they didn't take her. Another person was sick, and I don't remember what happened to the other one, but I was number 4. So they told me I had to wait and see if I was a match. Now, blood work is supposed to be done in order in a very timely fashion in order to make sure that you're a match and test the blood work properly, but they didn't have enough blood work at my hemodialysis lab. So I had to be rushed up to the hospital where I was going to get the transplant to do the labs and then go all the way home, basically, which was about an hour and a half ride or so, and then wait another 4 hours to see if I was actually the candidate for that transplant. In the meantime, I called all my friends, family, my boss for the job and said, "Hey, I'm not coming in today. I'm getting a transplant."
So let me ask you, before you continue, when you rode to the hospital, gave the blood, and went back home, during the ride back home, did you have any anxiety or doubt in your mind if this was going to happen or not?
Not a lot. I don't know why, but when I had dialysis and when I was sick, there was this thing I did. I prayed for a kidney, but I didn't pray for just any kidney. I prayed for the right kidney because, like you said, after my mom wanted to give me a kidney and she couldn't, and then we found out she had kidney disease and was really ill even through my wedding. I was like, okay, I guess my mom's kidney isn't it. Then my aunt Rose wanted to give me a kidney, and then, well, apparently God said no to that because one of her doctors said, "No, Rose, you can't give her a kidney." And then it was so many months later that I got this kidney. So I think it was a matter of this was going to be my right kidney.
Wow. The third is a charm, huh?
Yeah, that and a lot of faith.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Connectivity. So please bear with us. While you was waiting for your transplant, did you lose hope anytime during that period?
Um, Honestly, no. I really don't think I felt that way. But the other thing is, I didn't think about it a lot. I kept busy. Um, I worked up until almost the time I had a transplant. I had a job when I was on hemo. I had a job when I was on peritoneal. If I didn't have a job, I volunteered. I went out to meet people because, like I said, there was no Facebook or social media. So I just did anything I could to keep busy, to not think about it. The hardest thing was when I worked, there were people who didn't understand I needed to have dialysis or know what it even was, and they didn't like it that I left early, or they didn't like it that I had this back room to myself to do the peritoneal. The bosses didn't like it that I called out sick quite a bit. So it was getting people to understand what was going on. But I kind of saw that as an opportunity to educate people.
So, I mean, did you grow up far as like how would I say? I don't want to say self-dependent, but it seemed like when you got sick, what most people do is kind of get depressed, kind of fall in a dark hole because of this new normal that just hit them. What gave you that strength and courage to like continue working, keep doing what you was doing, and not let this disease get in front of you? Can you share that? Because you may have some people watching now that may been just diagnosed and feel like it's the end of the world. They can't work no more. Or even people who's already been diagnosed who may feel that way. What motivated you to continue to work, take your PD supplies to the job, and just not sit still and let this disease consume you?
Well, Steve, I think a lot of it had to do with really just growing up, being independent, being the oldest child, being a problem solver. But mostly I looked back at my life, even though I was young, and looked at when I had other problems. What did I do? How did I solve them? Did I have the strength to carry on through those problems? And I looked at myself and kind of said, well, if you got through that, you can get through this. And when doctor said, well, it's not the worst thing in the world, I had to go home and think about that one. And I kind of thought about other things that could be much worse, and just educated myself and just learned and learned. And the other thing was being able to help other people.
Wow. I mean, that's serious.
Steve, I'm also
told about this disease. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that's also something that I share with other people, is to look back on your strengths. We all have them. We just forget what they are when we're feeling down, when we're feeling low. We forget that we actually have those strengths. And I would encourage people out there to just really look at themselves, because you are stronger than you think you are. I totally believe that. I'm a mental health counselor now, and I totally believe in that.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait a minute. You're a mental health counselor?
Yes, I'm for people in crisis with depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, anxiety, you name it.
And you just telling me this? We could have been had you on this show.
I'm sure it's affected a lot of people.
No, let me tell you. We're going to bring you back because I know this show is to talk about your experience, your experience, strength, and hope, and your story. But Dawn, we have to bring you back and talk about the mental health part of this disease from your professional opinion, like talk about depression or irritability or any other emotional feelings that people with kidney disease may suffer from as a result of this disease. We definitely got to have you back and talk about this.
That would be great, Steve. Be happy to.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Now, your husband, I saw that he commented, Tom Kirkowski. Thanks for watching, Tom. Did you meet Tom when you had kidney disease? before kidney disease or after you were diagnosed?
I met Tom actually post-transplant. It was
Post
about, well,
transplant.
yeah, so he's been with me about 15 years out of the 20.
Uh-huh.
And he's
How
amazing.
did you Oh, yes, he is. Thank you for chiming in, Tom. Now, how did you tell Tom when you met him you was dealing with this disease? Because I'm going to go with your mental health opinion right now. You know, with kidney disease, a lot of people kind of hold back if they're single and telling people. Some people do. Some people are kind of apprehensive about getting involved in a relationship because they may be dealing with kidney disease. How did you break that news to Tom?
Well, basically, it goes back to the way I tried to tell people before Tom that since I did date while I was on dialysis. And my attitude about that was be upfront, be honest, and you know what? If they can't accept me as I am, then really I felt like they didn't uh, deserve me. In number one, and number two, I said to him straight out, look, if this is it, if we're gonna be a couple, just know I may have more hospital visits and this and that. And I kind of just told him straight up what was going on. Within a couple weeks after we were dating, I was actually in the ER, very sick, and he held my hand, and I knew that was it.
Wow, amazing, Tom. We need to do a show with Tom and talk about couples so y'all can give some advice on what got y'all through the rocky moments dealing with disease so other people could probably try that as well, because this disease is something else. And a lot of people who don't know about it, who are or maybe ignorant about this disease, and they meet somebody with it, they may not be there for the long haul because they may not understand what's going on with kidney disease.
A lot of people walk away.
Now, yeah, let me ask you. I've seen Mrs. Jean Sam post a lot of times and always cheer you on. Who is she to you?
Well, Jean is one of my new great friends that I met through Facebook. I met Jean through really in person when she gave me a very, very special recognition for being an essential worker. Jean and Brenda Sims are very important to me because her friend Brenda Cortez, so I apologize, Brenda Cortez is also a great friend because she created Howl the Owl, and writes books about him to teach people about organ donation and transplant. And Jean and Brenda together created Howl's Heroes, which is a fabulous way to recognize essential workers, which is in honor of Vivian, Jean's sister, who died of COVID and was an RN. So shout out to Jean. And I have Hal here with me.
Okay. Wait a minute. Jean, my condolences to the passing of your sister. I just heard she was a nurse, and I'm a nurse as well. So please accept my sincere condolences on the passing of your sister and nurse colleague. Now, I know Brenda. She was on our show. Brenda Cortez, the author of the How the Owl series, and also kidney donor. So yes, man, this is awesome how all this comes in a 360 circle.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now talk about How the Owl. How did you get involved with that project?
Well, basically, just finding Brenda and Jean on Facebook. Brenda nominated me to be a Howl's Hero because I worked during the coronavirus as a mental health counselor. I've not stopped working. and Brenda felt it was important and basically let Jean know. And really, that was it. So with the House Heroes, I received the wonderful Hal the Owl from them. And then I actually decided to share the love and passed it on to nominate my nephrologist, who I've had over 20 years, because I thought, well, she
Wow.
really deserved it. And now I sent one to my kidney donor, who I did not know when I was transplanted, but now have had communication with via
Wow.
Facebook and email.
I mean, first, let me just say, Jean, that's amazing that you're kidney recipient. I would definitely like to have you on the show. So if we're Facebook friends, please send me a message. Donna, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. We got to have you on the show as well, Donna, because of your unwavering advocacy of helping people find a donor. So Donna and Jean, we got to have y'all on the show. Miss Dawn, I mean, 20 years with your nephrologist. That's amazing. So I'm sure you must have an awesome relationship with her.
Well, she basically is like family to me, and she tells me that I am like family to her. And when I gave her Hal the Owl, she said it's the best award I ever got and recognition ever, because it was personal, and that's why I do this job as a nephrologist. I got to mention that she was also my saving grace this past year, because my mother, who had a transplant for 11 years, basically lost her transplant and lost her lung function back in December, and has been on a ventilator ever since.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. So if it wasn't for Dr. DeFranco, who was also her nephrologist, telling me it's going to be okay, your mom's going to be okay, you're not going to lose her. If it wasn't for constant contact with her, when I couldn't see my mother during the coronavirus, this doctor was an angel and a friend. And
oh, wow. Wow, she was able to get updated information as it occurred.
Yes.
Oh man, that is so awesome. I mean, that is so awesome. Wow.
Absolutely.
Now, can you show us Hal the Owl for
Sure.
people who may not have seen him? Wow. Yeah, we definitely have to get Jean on here and talk about
Absolutely.
how they created House Heroes. I mean, because it's all about spreading this information, and that's what we're trying to do, Dawn, is get this information out there by any means necessary, whatever platform is available to share whatever we can about kidney disease. Just like they talk about other chronic diseases, it should be a platform where we can speak about kidney disease and everything that goes with it. Again, because there's no, I mean, this is no racial lines, no income line for this disease, and it can happen to anyone. It's just, how do they get that information so they don't have to feel alone when they're diagnosed? And because there's so much information on the internet that can lead somebody to think that they may not have a chance on dealing with this disease because of the misinformed information.
But that's not true. You have a chance. You have a chance to live. You know, I mean, tune in more to Steve Belcher. The guest he has on will tell you that.
Oh,
that
thank
you
you.
have a chance to live. And it, you know what? We can have a life. I think it's important just to learn from the rest of us and know that you can have a life. There is hope. You just have to learn and try your best to be patient. And I know it's hard. I'm there for you.
Mm-hmm. So, Dawn, can you tell us, when you're working as a mental health practitioner, what do you hear the most that people who come to you for service, what's the biggest fear that you hear from them?
I'm sorry, what's the biggest what? Fear?
Yes.
Basically that they won't get better. So with whatever illness they have, whether it is just mental illness symptoms or other things, and quite often people who suffer from long-term mental illness also have other diseases, and sometimes one of them is kidney disease. So there's a lot of I'm not going to get better. If I have to take medications, what are they going to do to me? And I just find that having a long history with kidney disease and my medications, as well as some other health issues which have happened afterward, help me to let people know that it can be okay.
Hmm. Do you counsel many patients that deal with kidney failure?
I would say in the job I do, not a lot, but usually I've advertised to my coworkers and peers that if you should get somebody who is suffering from kidney disease, send them over to me. So probably more than the rest of the people in the agency. And yeah, sometimes I do. There's a mental health drug out there that was used for a long time, lithium, that causes kidney failure. And
Right.
so I've gotten some of those folks.
Yeah, matter of fact, I know several individuals that their kidney disease got damaged behind long-term use of lithium.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's something that we need to talk about as well. There's so much to this disease. I mean, it's not only, I mean, diabetes and hypertension are just the two leading causes. That's why we
Yes.
had this explosion. But there's other forms of kidney disease that we haven't even scratched the surface on, that people suffer with, and it's not diabetes or hypertension.
Yeah, like right now, due to COVID, some people have lost kidney function. I know during their treatment with COVID, and I don't know how well they're recovering because I haven't heard. But I realize that's another issue. My mother lost her transplant because her lungs failed, and it was either your transplant or your life. There are so many other things, and other medications that can cause problems such as hypertension and lead to diabetes can then lead to kidney failure. So it's just an extreme maze of so many
Mm-hmm.
things.
Now, over the 20 years or over the time that you've had this transplant, has there been any scare of possible rejection during this time?
Um, yes, because there were several times when I got sick, albeit from something else, that my creatinine would rise. And I've gotten the question on groups on Facebook that says, well, my creatinine's up. Does it mean my kidney's going to fail? I want to answer that with my 20 years experience, even though I'm not a physician, that it doesn't mean necessarily that your kidney is going to fail.
Exactly. We had a physician on the other night that mentioned, well, he didn't delve into transplant, but he mentioned that dehydration can cause
I've
creatinine
had that
to
problem. Every summer I go through
increase.
it. Yeah, every summer I go through that. My creatinine rises and falls. When I had pneumonia and my whole system was out of whack, my creatinine rose and it came back down. Certain antibiotics have done it. Diet can do it. So there's so many factors. And people ask me what I should do, and I say talk to your nephrologist, talk to your team, because sometimes just posting to friends on Facebook, while that's nice for support, they don't have the answers. Every individual is different, and for some people, a certain creatinine can be normal.
Mm. And we just got word from your husband that tomorrow you'll be celebrating 20 years.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm so excited to do this show tonight, because it's
Oh
the
my
night before my
God,
anniversary.
congratulations.
Thank you,
Wow,
and I'm going to
two
celebrate. And
decades.
yeah, I'm getting myself a kidney cake. I'm actually ordered a cake with a kidney shape, and I'm real excited because hey, 20 years, I deserve it.
Oh my God, congratulations, Don. That is so awesome that you were able to be here the night before your 20-year kidney anniversary.
It
Such
just
an
worked out
honor.
right. It just worked out right, like a lot of things in my life. I think that the people I met were inspirational, and I think that's another thing that got me through everything. When things were hard, I'd probably meet a new person or somebody else in my life, and just that would lead to the next person and the next thing happening. If it wasn't for my transplant, I wouldn't have met my husband, because I went back to the old job that I worked when 36 months after my transplant, my Medicare was about to run out, and I was really desperate for insurance. So I went back and begged for an old job, which I really didn't love, in order to get covered for insurance. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have met my husband, and I probably wouldn't have went and got my master's degree, because when I went back, there was a person there who told me, go for it, get your master's degree, go out and help people. So it's funny, but sometimes you just meet the right people in this journey. That's why I say I'm completely blessed.
Oh, absolutely. And I just want to, you got a lot of congratulations. I just want to thank Mrs. Debbie Salter for stopping by. Please tell Nick hello and give Nick our wishes. Dawn, I want to ask you, having FSGS, is there any concern, or do your physician or your medical team has any concern of this FSGS rearing its ugly head again?
I actually asked my nephrologist a while back, and she monitors me close, and she says, well, if your creatinine goes up, it's one thing, but if we find that you have protein in your urine, then we would worry about it coming back. But since I've never experienced protein in my urine, not in large quantities since my transplant, she feels like it's not going to come back, at least not that she can tell. The other thing is, she said the longer you have your transplant without a rejection episode, the more likely you are to keep it. On top of that, my donor was only 19 years old and was an excellent match.
Wow. That is awesome. Lisa G, we got to bring you on Warriors Quest and get your story as well. But 19.
Yeah.
What a blessing. I mean, like you said, I mean, this has been I don't want to say a blessing and a curse. Well, a blessing and a curse with kidney disease, but many more blessings than that to get you to this point.
I think so. I really feel like I'm incredibly blessed by all the people out there. I want to say, hey, Connie, and I want to shout out to Rose Fauci on this call.
Sure, here she go right here. Thank you for watching, Rose. Please share and like our pages.
She's my aunt, and she has been an essential person in my life throughout the whole time.
Oh,
of kidney disease.
Is this the one that you used to hang with, like your sister?
Yeah, she's my mother's sister.
Okay.
And was a true inspiration in me fighting kidney disease, and I think this is why I never gave hope. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share the story I told you.
Sure, go ahead.
So
absolutely.
I always felt like having this disease, getting through it, I needed a reason. I needed a cause. I needed a purpose. So it started out with my Aunt Rose. Hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. There was a miracle. My aunt was very depressed, and she couldn't function, and I really thought that she was going to die. And I was getting sicker and sicker with my renal failure. And I wrote a note to God, strangely, and I wrote, dear God, if you make me sicker or allow me to be sicker and I need a transplant, I'm going to be okay. But could you please make Rose better? And I don't care what happens to me as long as you make Rose better, because she was like my best friend. My aunt, I love her so much. And excuse me, a little emotional. And basically it gave me purpose, and she got better and then was really there to take care of me and take me to dialysis.
You can continue, Don. We have some internet issues. Go ahead.
So I felt like that was the reason for just being, was to be able to help my aunt get better, and then her being there to take care of me after she got better and healed from her depression. So it gave both of us a big purpose in our life, And I've been spending my life with that purpose ever since, because I was able to be there post-transplant, to see my grandmother at the end of her life, my grandfather at the end of his life, and help my father through cancer. Thanks to transplant, thanks to my organ donor, she basically kept me there. My donor kept me there to take care of my family and to be there for my mom when she got sick. So, thank God.
Wow. Wow. Aunt Rose, thank you for being there for Dawn. Absolutely. Wow. What a, I mean, amazing story that your aunt was able to be there for you. Sounds like you had an awesome support system during the time that you really needed it.
Yeah, my grandparents too, God bless them, may they rest in peace, were just amazing. My grandmother was ill, but while I had my transplant, I stayed in her house because my feet were too big from the swelling from the transplant meds, and the elevator in my apartment went out. But again, that was a blessing because I got to spend my grandmother's end of days with her and help to take care of her. And my grandfather was instrumental in helping take me to dialysis and pick up my meds. And I'm just so grateful. And I was in the house with my mom and my aunt, so it was just wonderful that I got that chance.
Mhm. Now, when you look back over these 20 plus years of dealing with this disease and everything you went through with your mom, your grandparents, being married, do you ever like say wow, or how did you ever make it to this point now?
Yeah, sometimes I do ask myself that. I asked myself that the other night as I was thinking about how to answer some questions here, and there were just so many things that got me through. I'd say one of the biggest things, besides family, was faith in God, knowing that the right one would come. I think I was always essentially a problem solver, and like I said, caring about other people. So yeah, sometimes I would go back and look at that because in a way, I wasn't sure. I just did it. It wasn't like there was a question to be done. I was young and I wanted to live, and I guess that was the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had a plan.
So, right now, based over your 20 years, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
What can you share with someone watching this program right now who is waiting for a kidney? What words of encouragement could you say that help them wait for their miracle to happen?
Have patience because you're waiting for the right kidney. I think that's important to keep in mind and to keep faith. And if you have a support system, use it. If you don't have a support system, find one, like going on one of Steve Belcher shows or joining a support group, or even just volunteering with your local organ donation network so that you can meet other people who are going through this and share your story. Share your story and get out there and go on social media and use any links you can and any cost you can to find a donor, because one thing they didn't have when I was being transplanted was all these connections to do donation with people who don't know you, or paired donation. They didn't have any of that. So take advantage, get out there, or find somebody who will speak for you if you can't.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing we didn't talk about that I just thought about. On one of our shows we did, you were mentioned, I can't remember the comment, but you had talked about research and knowing your treatment. How important is that for patients that are on dialysis to know what's happening with their dialysis treatment?
I'd say 110%. Know your body, first of all. Know what you feel like, because your doctors are not mind readers. We'd like to think they are not. And first thing, and learn your blood work. Learn how to read it. What I do now is I get my blood work sent to me online via an app to the lab, and I read it before my doctor even sees me or talks to me. This way, you can write down any questions or concerns that you might have. I think that was essential in learning it. Plus, if I knew what was going on, I would be able to adjust my weight, adjust my eating habits, and then be able to tell the doctor this is what I'm doing and see if it could change things. So yeah, know your body and know your labs. It's essential. Don't wait for them
Yes.
to tell you.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say, Jean. She said you need to be your own advocate.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. If you can't advocate for yourself, find yourself an advocate, a friend, a relative, somebody who can go with you, or utilize the social workers. A lot of times, social workers are underutilized in these settings. If you have one, use it. Bother them. Everybody says, I don't want to bother my social worker. I don't want to bother my nurse. I don't want to bother my tech. No, I tell people, this is what we're doing. This is our job. Let us help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then sometimes you may have to go outside the dialysis facility to get that information because the social worker, the dietitian, the technician, they so overburdened with just patients, especially dietitians and the social workers. These clinics sometimes have them taking up census up to 125 to 50 patients and having to write notes. Can you imagine writing clinical notes on 150 dialysis patients? I mean, that is ridiculous.
I can. I do clinical notes, but not that many, and it's still overwhelming. So yeah, that's why these other resources are important, like your organ procurement agencies that may have a support group, finding other support groups, as well as maybe checking out your hospitals. I attended both a pre-transplant support group and a post-transplant support group, and I attended it with family members so that they could learn about how to best advocate for me, how to know when I wasn't feeling right. And I think that was really important because a lot of the groups were in person back then. But sure, you can go online and just do that. Talk to people and read for yourself. Also, like I said, National Kidney Foundation is another one. American Association of Kidney Patients. So there's places you can look.
Yeah, I got to get Miss Jean on the show because she's talking my language. She's talking about making sure, which rightfully so, that the technicians are putting that information in. Calculating that stuff, like putting the correct hours.
Know your dry weight. Know your dry
absolutely.
weight.
Especially pulling out the correct fluid, making sure your blood flow rate is at the ordered speed, making sure that you're on your bath, correct bath. I mean, it's so much that one has to know, but it's important to know that so you can't depend on someone else to take care of you because they're human. And we all know that slogan, to err is human.
Absolutely. We got to remember that technicians are human, doctors are human. They're not mind readers. They're not perfect. So they don't know what you're feeling. You need to tell them, and you need to keep track of your own stuff. I mean, know your actual weight versus your dry weight if you're a small person. I experienced cramping and different things with timing of the machine, and they were pulling up too much water because I did not hold a lot of water because I was A, small, and B, followed the diet pretty good, I'd say. And so I had to educate them, which felt a little weird, but I had to learn. They didn't know everything about me personally, so it was a matter of talking to them and sometimes talking to the nephrologist and say, hey, maybe we need to change the orders a little.
I kept this post up by Jean. She said texts make mistakes, and not to beat on text, but just to share a quick story. When I was working, I had a technician put a patient on, and when I came around to do my rounds, it was maybe an hour later. It was maybe 45 minutes. I say 45 minutes until I got to this patient, but the technician never started the treatment time. So the patient was running 45 minutes to an hour just running, but the time wasn't set. It wasn't pulling off any fluid. It was just running. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? So yes, make sure if you're watching this show and you go to in-center dialysis, make sure when that person turn on that pump speed and you see your blood moving out of the arterial, make sure they hit that start button on the machine,
so
because sometimes the technician is rushing, especially in between first and second shift, or second and third shift when they're doing changeover, because they're trying to get people in, get them out. And so if you have somebody coming off the machine, you want to get somebody on before that person comes off. They'll rush and they can forget, because then they're thinking of trying to get their other person off. So this happens.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, wow. So as we come down to the hour, this has been a great show. And I want to call you Jean. Dawn, we definitely going to bring you back. We just got to talk and figure out a day, maybe in September or October, and do a show on mental health. Maybe talk about some of the common emotional issues that maybe kidney patients deal with, like depression. What else?
Anxiety.
I'm sure it's a lot.
Anxiety.
Anxiety.
I think is one of the biggest things.
Maybe hopelessness. So this is something that needs to be talked about, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. I deal with mental illness at times. I'm not going to lie, anxiety, but it has to be talked about in order to deal with it. You can't just keep it in the dark and try to deal with it on your own, because then it may take you down a slippery slope that possibly there may be no way back. We don't know. But
a lot of people don't go to their treatments because they're feeling very depressed and they think it's over, they think it's the end, or when they're feeling badly and they want to give up, and they may not go to their treatments, or they may try to change the amount of days that they go to because they're just sick and tired of it. So sometimes that's depression. What I want to say is, if you're feeling badly, to reach out to somebody, talk to somebody. Even if you call a friend. By the way, I am on Facebook. I have a group, Transplant Experiences, and a group, Living with Chronic Illness. So you can certainly, reach out to me, or even private message me on Facebook. You'll see me there. So if you want to talk about that, please do. If I don't know a resource, I could probably direct you to one, or how to get one, even if you're somewhere else in the United States other than where I am.
But Don, one thing I was just thinking here, with kidney disease, depression, and all these other mental illness stuff that we talked about, that's kind of common with kidney disease, right? So it's not like if a person gets diagnosed or deal with these type of emotions off and on, they're not alone, because it's part of this disease, correct?
Yes. So I want to mention something about kidney disease and really living with any chronic illness, because I live with other chronic illnesses besides just kidney disease, diabetes, macular degeneration, loss of my vision, and some other things. And I want to say, living with a chronic illness, sometimes you grieve. And when you're a dialysis patient, or you find out you're going to need dialysis, the first thing you do is grieve like you've lost somebody in your life, because you've lost a part of yourself. You've lost function. And I think, yes, it's absolutely normal, anybody going through any chronic illness, to have these kind of feelings.
Wow, amazing. You're just amazing guest, Don. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Steve.
So, but before we end the show, just share what you want people to know about kidney transplant and kidney disease.
Well, basically, I would like to say that looking at me, people find that I'm very high functioning, I'm very positive, but I gotta say, it's normal to feel anxiety or some stress or some depression, and I did also, so you're not alone. Again, I want to say make sure that you're aware of how you feel and checking your uh, blood work and knowing how you feel. And if you feel like your mental health gets worse instead of better once you learn more and find support, then yes, reach out to somebody. And I want to say there is hope. There is much more hope than there even used to be due to things like paired donor exchanges where different people can give kidneys to other people that they don't know. There are Facebook groups to help people to find kidneys. There's so many resources, and I encourage people to look. Yes, there is hope. Yes, you can function. And I just want to give a quick example of a couple of things that I managed to find out. You just need to find out how you can function because I went on vacations. I worked full time. Not everybody can do those things. I totally understand. But do your best to find something you can do. Find a hobby. Find anything that might give you pleasure and take pleasure in the small things. It'll help you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for that. Anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah. Shout out to also to Gene Sim and my friends at the sharing network, or any friends and family that might be joining us, and just about anybody on here. Certainly, thank you for coming, and it's been a real pleasure, Steve. Hope to do this again.
Oh, we're going to do this again, most doubt. We want to talk about the mental health because, again, that needs to be talked about, and we need to have a candid conversation and what people could do to push through if they're dealing with depression or any other type of mental illness that they may be dealing with. So, absolutely, Dawn. Thank you again for coming on Smashing Kidney Disease. And I will be reaching out to you for a future date to talk about mental illness.
Thanks, Steve. It's been a pleasure and actually an honor to meet you.
Same here.
And just another blessing added to my plate of influential people. Keep doing what you're doing because your broadcasts are great. I've only recently been looking at them, to be honest, and they're awesome. Oh, by the way, another shout out to Donna Tissot.
Oh, absolutely. And Rose Fauci.
And Rose. And Tommy Kurkowski, my loving husband, who's been my caretaker assistant. Thanks for being there holding my hand. And I think that's important. Find somebody who hold your hand. If they won't, they're not worth it.
Wow. Absolutely. Thank you, Dawn, for coming on Smashing Kidney Disease. And I'll definitely be talking to you soon.
Thank you, Steve. Like I said,
all right, take care. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Guys, this has been a great show. Lisa G, definitely send me a text through Messenger. We're going to get you a date, most definitely. I'd like to thank these people before I close out the show. Gene Sim, thank you. Lisa, thank you for watching tonight. Tom Kurkowski, thank you, sir, for watching. Rose Fauci, Jared Brown, Trish Phillips, thank you. Jonathan, he was just on the other night. Gene, again, Jonathan, Connie, Nelson.
Can I crack it just a little?
Let me see, who else here? Let me see, Donna, thank you for watching. And then Debbie Salter, thank you. I mean, thank everybody. Rose, pretty much the same people going down. Martin, thank you for watching. I mean, that's pretty much it. But thank you, guys. Rose, definitely like to have you on too, the aunt to help. Lisa G, Debbie Salter, and it was somebody else. Oh, Gene Sim. Please reach out. We would definitely like to have you on the show and hear your experience as well. Guys, this has been a great show. Again, thank you for coming on. Tune in tomorrow for the Lisa Baxter Show. And then tune in at 9 o'clock as we kick off Cooking with the Kidney Chef series with the original Chef O. He's going to be on tomorrow night to share one of his nice, easy to cook dish. That's tomorrow at 9 o'clock. You're not going to want to miss that. And guys, please share and like our pages, Urban Health Outreach Media and Urban Kidney Alliance. But watch tomorrow's show tonight. This is going to be the first Cooking with the Kidney Chef series. There hasn't been anything like it before. I'm going to try it. It's going to be for the whole month of September, every Sunday, 9 o'clock. Next Sunday, we're going to have Chef Boardley. And then after that, hopefully we'll have Chef Chaffee Javon. So tune in. It's going to be a great show, great evening, food, fun, and talking about kidney disease. Talk to you guys later. Have a good evening. Stay blessed and encouraged. Peace.